Let's take a moment to look at the Dodge Durango and go through it in and out and just kind of go over how I got it. So it's funny because every time I buy a Dodge vehicle, I always look on their website at exactly what I would like to have, build it out, and then I use their inventory search to see if there are any of that exact same spec near me. And I found two. This one was in Lake Norman, North Carolina, and then there was another one in Kentucky. Exactly the way I had built it out to be exactly what I wanted. And that's twice I've done that with my Ram. I did the same thing. I searched up to see, could I find the exact one I wanted? Found it in Winston-Salem and went and got it. So let's go inside and check out some different things. So I'm using it clearly because it is a little dirty. We've taken it to a couple of construction sites because it's four-wheel drive and, good. So good to go wherever we need it to go. So why not? Get the air pumping. My dash cam doesn't really have a good way to mount it. Might have to see if I can't tuck it up and around the suede headliner, by the way. That's nice. So it's funny how whenever I was looking at getting a Durango, I come across the Jeep Grand Cherokee instead. And I chose to go Jeep Grand Cherokee because there were more features, just more overall to have in the vehicle than the Durango had. One of my biggest things was the moonroof. I really like the full panoramic moonroof. Whereas the Durango doesn't have that, it just has the regular little moonroof. But, whatever. I chose the Jeep because of all the different features that it had to offer and everything that I liked about it. And turns out it wasn't that good. I'm on a really bumpy road, I know you can tell. It wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. And I backed out of that very quickly. I think the Jeep had about 1,700 miles on it when I sold it. And I knew within the first couple of hundred that it wasn't gonna work for me because it just wasn't any good. But it is funny to me how the Durango can be so, not as nice, I guess you would say, more basic in some of its features, and still be so darn good. So good in the fact that I would much rather have this than the Jeep Grand Cherokee, just based on the issues that I had out of it. Now, yes, I don't have the digital rear view mirror in this one like I had in the Jeep, but that was one of the things that started messing up in the Jeep. The big screen I do have, I think this is the 12-inch now, and no issues here, whereas the Jeep had issues. And then my center screen, sure, I don't have the things that the Jeep had, like night vision and all that, but again, it's not messing up on me. It's actually working, which is worth it in my opinion, because all these features are nothing if they don't work. And if you're constantly having to take it to the service center to get it fixed, it's not worth it. This one, haven't had a single issue. Actually, on the way home, I did have an issue. My blind spot quit working for about 20 seconds, and then it came back and started working fine. I contacted the dealer and asked them, is this an area of concern? They said, it doesn't sound like it's a problem, but if you want to bring it in, we'll check it, make sure everything's okay. I told them I was going to continue driving it just to see how things went, and if it didn't get better, then I would bring it in for service. And one reason why I wanted the Hemi. Having driven these at work, I knew that the V6 just wasn't it. There wasn't enough power to make it go. Now, again, I've driven the V6s since I bought this one, and I actually feel like the V6s feel lighter than the V8s. That's possible and probably due to the extra weight of the V8. However, I still feel like the V8 provides that extra little bit of power that you would have not gotten otherwise, and is well worth it. One thing I want to talk about is the audio system while I sit here in traffic. I've noticed that it doesn't sound as good as I thought it would. At low volume, there seems to be no bass. And I don't want to get any copyright strikes, so let's let this song get into just a second of, I'm going to keep talking over it until it gets to this. Here's the bass. There's a little bit of bass, not much. And when you hear the talking, you'll notice that the talking way outpowers the bass. And I have the bass all the way up, like I always do. And it's not until you really turn it up that you can feel and hear the bass. At lower volume, you don't feel or hear the bass at all. And it's just, it's a weird, I've never had an audio system to do that before, so that's different. I'm not sure if maybe there's something wrong with it, or maybe that's just the way it works in this one, but I guess I'll just have to turn it up and listen to it loud to enjoy it. Now, maybe I'm a little biased because my first car I ever purchased was the Chrysler 300, and I had a huge dream of this Chrysler 300 that I always wanted it. And really, it was a really good car. The only complaint I had with the Chrysler 300 was that it was low to the ground, and, you know, me being 6'5", it was kind of, you know, cars usually don't work very well with tall people because they're cars, and tall people don't fit well in cars. So, again, maybe I'm biased, but I feel like this is everything I ever wanted in the Chrysler 300, but it's higher up off the ground and it fits me better. And that feeling of, you know, going back to the basics and driving what used to be, you know, my daily driver, a Chrysler 300, but now it's just the newer, upgraded feeling Dodge Durango. Sure, it may not be, you know, the newest, latest, greatest that's on the market today because, you know, what the Jeep has is the newest, latest, greatest. But we've already seen firsthand that the Jeep wasn't worth the trouble. So for this, it works. It's not an issue, and I really do enjoy it. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. So let's talk about leg room. Obviously, I've got plenty here. I've got my seat probably all the way back because that's how I like to ride. But let's take a minute to get in the back seat and just see how much leg room I have behind myself. So as you can see, the seat is pretty much all the way back. And there's not a lot of leg room here, but honestly, it's still more than my Rivian. Now, as you can see, I don't fit behind myself very well. But if I can put my legs here, the door closes, it would be up against my leg. That would be fine. Not ideal, but it's comfortable. It's doable. Not really comfortable. It's doable. Do you have your center cup holders, storage with some power outlets. But on the other side is more of a normal person sitting. So let's sit behind a normal person. And as you can see, I can actually fit my legs behind it. And this is a more comfortable sitting. And could I sit there? Probably. It's just driving. I like to stretch out a little bit. And we can't forget the third row, which I do leave up for now because, you know, the headrests are folded down. They don't really get in my way. But if I needed them down, I could simply just pull up and push them down like that. They go down further like that. Unfortunately, it's not power, but you know, who really cares? These will probably never get used anyway. They'll always be folded down, and I'll always be carrying something here. Plus, if you knew how to work this, you got some storage here. I think your amplifier lays under that, so you can't really do anything there. And I think this plug is actually to access your tire jack, or, you know, the thing that lowers the tire. Haven't messed with that. If I had one complaint about the car, it would be that these lights, all the lights inside the car, are still incandescent and not LED. And it's nearly impossible to swap them out because issues do arise if you start trying to swap incandescent bulbs for LED. We've learned that in many other vehicles, not just this one. I haven't actually tried in this one, but in other vehicles, it's not worth it. You tend to cause more problems and interference than it's worth to try to get LED bulbs were incandescent once set. But a light's a light and it works. It's not the light I would prefer, but it works. So let's just go over some of the basic features of the Durango. Some of the biggest things that people always tell me is, oh, well, this one don't have this or this one don't have that. So we'll start by saying that the Durango does not have power folding mirrors. I'm assuming this would be the button if it were there. It does not have it. You can still manual fold them, but that's all. It does, however, have a power tilting, telescoping steering wheel. So that's useful. You do still get your automatic headlights, fog lights. Some of these have two knobs. This one only has one, but it does still have the ambient lighting on the inside. You still got your trailer brake controller, which was a big thing for me. Highly useful for what you need. Everything's pretty much standard. You know, you got your automatic windshield wipers, your automatic high beams, pretty much everything that you would expect it to have. So, you know, the main differences that you never hear anyone talk about are the power steering wheel and the power folding mirrors. So yes, no, that's the biggest. I think I mentioned this earlier, but all of these are incandescent and no LEDs on the inside. Not crazy about that, but at least all the outside lights are LED. So that's the introduction to the Dodge Durango, and we'll do some more deep diving into the different menus and things, because that's something else I've noticed you really can't find any videos of. But just wanted to kind of give you guys a first look at it. Also, the blind spot error that I was telling you about, I'm having that again, so that's going to be an upcoming issue that we'll cover as well. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next time.